live from Mississippi. So we fixing to try out this cooker. Um, what am I cooking? I don't know. We're just cooking. So I've got some rice in this pot right here. I went in the house and fixed it. I put some rice, about a cup of rice, cup of water. I didn't measure nothing, just so y'all know. So we're gonna put that on low. Me like this one. So we experiment with this. I don't know how it's gonna cook. I have cooked breakfast one morning on it. I made tea last night on it. So I don't know, up and down, but now the good thing is I was worried about it. I can't reach my knobs right here. So I can successfully stand right here and turn it up and down. So, and I wanted this big enough that I can do just this. Set the lid over here out of the way, drag the pot off the fire, such as that. So that is why it is made as it is. So what I've got right here is a pound of ground beef. This is beef that we got when we bought a steer. We did not rain feed it and raise it ourselves, but we went up to a butcher slaughterhouse and we purchased one that they had. Actually, we bought a half a steer last year. I did a video on it, but I was explaining it for those of you that may be new. Now, when you do this, you see how this meat, it ain't red in there no more. It's been in the freezer. A lot of people get all worried about the taste, and it probably loses some taste. So just so you see, that's how it's gonna be. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm okay with it. So I got my spatula right here, and I am gonna just chop this up. I'm gonna turn my fire up just a little bit. I don't want this to cook fast, so what am I gonna do? I don't know what you call this. I don't have a recipe. I've told y'all cooking more of an idea to me. So what I'm gonna do is put this ground beef in here and we're gonna let it cook. I'm just trying to cut it up, and that's why I like this spatula, y'all. If you ain't got one of these spatulas ground sharp, this old skillet that was already cracked. I actually fed chickens in that skillet for 2 or 3 years till I seen these. Miss Sue or somebody sent me, I don't remember exactly who, sent me a picture of one that they had seen somebody do, and I'd never seen it. And I was like, yeah, I like that, and I got a skillet I can make one out of. So I went at it. Alright. And we'll probably waste some, but you can cut that meat all up good up in there. So back over here now. Y'all know when I'm cooking live, you see I can't edit out all this moving the camera around, so you just got to bear with me. Uncle Sasquatch sent me this knife. Most of you seen it. We're gonna cut up. I don't have any bell peppers, but I got some big old jalapenos we bought somewhere. We're gonna cut them up, cut up some onion. I had some leftover onion in the refrigerator in there. I can't talk, can't think, can't do much of nothing most times. And I don't need all of this. I think that is probably more than I need. I may go put this back in the refrigerator. So for those of you that are familiar with this would be sort of like the Holy Trinity. And don't ask me what the Holy Trinity means. Somebody was telling me they didn't agree with that. I don't know. All I know is it's 3 vegetables they use. Why they call it that, I have no idea. Throw that out there for the birds. So I'm gonna brown my meat. I'm gonna pull it out into a pan. I'll have to go get me another pan. I'm gonna pull it out and probably make a light roux. I don't want no thick roux. I don't want no whole bunch of thickness in there. I just want a little bit of a roux, and then I'm gonna put my vegetables back into that roux, and we're gonna brown them, add the meat back, and then I'm gonna put this jar of canned tomatoes that we canned last year. So I gotta be using up some canned tomatoes, because if y'all look right down there in that garden, and tomatoes coming on, and I'm gonna tell y'all, it may hurt somebody's feelings. I was raised on Better Boy tomatoes. I love Better Boy tomatoes. I have tried Cherokee Purples. Cherokee Purple's a good tomato. They didn't fare well here last year, so I didn't even plant them this year. The years that I've had them, the tomatoes themselves were good, but they don't can well. They're not a good canning tomato. They're good for a sandwich. I planted my hillbilly potato leaf because I love that big orange yellow looking tomato. I planted Celebrity. Somebody said try Celebrity, try Parks Whopper. Both of them are in the garden this year. Uncle Sasquatch, this is the first time I'm using this. I'm going to split these celeries though, down the middle. But the one I'm liking the best is the big beef. Y'all, the big beef vines down there, way outperforming anything else in the garden. They all get the same treatment. In fact, the big beef is not even over there where I put the all that chicken fertilizer and then put triple 13. So it ain't like, hey, they get more fertilizer than the rest. I may not need all of this. I want to cut this stuff up fairly fine. And I got to keep an eye on what's going on over here. I have to watch it. I don't know how much of this I need. I'm going to have to go get me a bowl to put some of my stuff in. I like to be able to just sling that stuff off out through there. That right there, I ain't gonna split. These I gotta split up. That I may not have to. But I had these things, they've been in the refrigerator for a minute or two, so they needed cooking. That there's trying to curl up. It's easier to do this when they're straight. Especially if your knife's straight. Now, if you got a bent knife blade, you can cut them curved ones pretty good. Some of y'all got a bent knife blade. I know. I've had them in my kitchen drawers too. Especially you got one of them Walmart knives and they in that knife drawer. You pull it out of there and it hangs and you get frustrated and you snatch on it. Yeah, you got a bent knife blade. You know you do. I probably got way more celery than I need. But we got celery and onion, and we're going to cut it up fairly fine. And what comes off this cutting board, we're going to rake off on the ground, and the critters can fight over it. Ain't to get it. Yeah, I don't even need all this. I'm going to put this back in that refrigerator too. Let me go get me a bowl, put this in before I have a mess. I actually had this pot sitting right over there. I'll use it. I still got to go get something to put that meat in whenever it comes off. So I'm going to have to still go in there and get something here shortly. Y'all, I love to cook, and I just be cooking. I'm not going to add no seasoning to that just yet. Uncle Sasquatch is knife cutting good. Get that cut up about 6 ways from Sunday. Cut them up pretty fine. Look at him. That's what that's good for right there. Yeah. Come on, come on. Now these peppers might be a horse of a different color here. I may need a smaller knife where I can do them like I want to. I don't want all them seeds. I get it open, I'm gonna just peel these seeds out. But now the reason I'm using these jalapenos, we cooked with them the other night at the cabin and put them in hush puppies, and they wasn't no heat to them really at all. So that's why I decided we didn't have no bell pepper, and I said, shoot, I'll just use them. So it's not gonna be real hot. I'm gonna go in there, but like I said, I'm gonna peel them seeds out. And I don't know what the deal is. I'll show you on the next one, but these seeds ain't big white like you dry and want to cook. Let me cut this big one open, and I'll show you what I mean. Oh, it's gonna be different. This one ain't gonna be like that. It's got the big white seeds. Them other ones, the seeds is little and brown in them. And my skin, y'all, don't break out from them like some folks and burn. I was trying to keep my hand out of my eyes, but I'll be fooled around and throw them seeds over my shoulder, go right in my pot. Some of y'all was waiting on that to happen, wouldn't you? I see comments popping up there, y'all. I had to keep up with them. And I don't know where these jalapenos come from, y'all. I think we bought them at the store. I did not grow these. My peppers are not quite yet ready. Now, I did plant a bunch of bell peppers because of all my cooking and using bell peppers. But now we got out here last night and made hamburgers on the grill. So I'm fixing to have to do a video on making charcoal because we've been cooking. We're about out of charcoal and I don't like buying it. They usually put it on sale here around Memorial Day weekend. Well, they didn't. Their sale this year was $2 off of it. We didn't buy none. I'm going to make some out of hardwood and I got a barrel out there that I'm going to cut the top out of, and I'm going to make me a deal to make my own bulk charcoal for grilling. But we grill hamburgers and some boudin out here. We bought some more of that Zumos, and it was good now. It was hot. And I know somebody will be asking about old Brody in a minute. Brody, he's been at his nana's the last 2 days playing with his cousins that's over there from Texas. And he come home today and he's been playing hard out around here. And I looked over a while ago, he done climbed up in the recliner and he is sawing logs. Old Brody taking him a nap. He'll probably come unwound here for the shows over, come tearing through like a tornado, look like Tasmanian double. Uh-oh, y'all, my rice over here went out. I must have had it down too low. I may need to set this up there for now. You have to keep a check on that stuff, which I ain't in no hurry for it. We got plenty of time to cook rice. And I looked and there is 2 blackberry cobblers in yonder. I think she is gonna send one down to my dad now. He had mentioned he wanted one. And yes, y'all, she picked them out here off of our blackberry vines. Don't have to fight the red bugs too bad right there. Y'all know what the red bugs are? When you get down to that short part of them jalapenos, it's hard to get it cut all up small. This might be fiery, reckon. Alright, we got all our vegetables in there. Yeah, that's a big pot for that, but that's what I had handy. Alright, I'm gonna go get a pan to put that meat in and we're gonna check it. I found me an old cheap bowl in there. Oh, me. So let me see I got some seasonings right here. I don't know which one's which. That one's eat them raw. Put it on. I put most of my seasonings back in the refrigerator. They was getting clumped up out here. This is a little bit of salt. I'm just gonna season that meat a little bit lightly. And that was black pepper. That's only 3 things I'm gonna use because that eat 'em raw's got plenty of what I need in it. I imagine this is. I know y'all want to see me burn my hand over, ain't you? I'll turn y'all where you look, because it's probably gonna happen. Set that right there. I'm gonna cover that up with this lid here. Hey, that worked just right. I don't want the flies getting in it. All right, I gotta go get some, think I'm gonna use this olive oil, but I gotta go get some flour. I just want a little bit, I don't want a lot. All right, y'all, come in. Some of you show enough Cajuns tell me what I'm doing wrong. How about that? Because I'm sure I ain't doing it just right. I can decently make it. I don't want no thick one. May need a little more oil than I got. And I really don't know that olive oil is the best thing to be using. I'd rather be using like bacon fat type stuff. And I don't know that this spatula is going to work the best. Yeah, we're going to have more oil. More oil, please. I think this spatula ain't what I need to be doing this with. It ain't working good. Get over there, I ain't even got to use this. Sean sent me that. I mean, not Sean. Joey sent it. Now we getting somewhere. Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. Like I said, y'all, I don't want no heavy. I just want to get some color. I didn't want a lot of roux. And y'all really can't even see it over there where you at, can you? Let me move y'all. Right over here. Now you can look off down in there. Oh, we went to hollering in here. Y'all, I'm liking this cooker though. It ain't perfectly level. I gotta bend it. It's gotta have some adjustments on it to get it just like I want it. But I knew that I was gonna have to make some improvement. When you home make stuff and you're making it out of scrap this and scrap that, that's just the way life is. Boy, that spatula worked out good. Look at it. Y'all like that? I'm ready to do some canning. I told my wife, I said, we fixing to have to invest in some jars. Finna happen. I'm going to do a lot of the canning this year, though. She gets busy. We'll get pottery orders, and it gets frustrating, but I'm gonna get out here in the afternoons canning out here on this. I'll be more apt to do a lot of the pressure canning, which I can probably do my tomatoes water bathing them out here too, because that's another thing, canning tomatoes. With that, I can have my boiler going and I'm putting my tomatoes in hot water, because then you come out of hot water and you put them in ice water, and then you got another pot canning. You can just have a lot more going on at one time. All that color is getting dark. Maybe a little thin though. Might be a little thin, but that's all right. I don't want it to get too thick. I can go add some more flour if I need to, but no more than I got of it, it ain't gonna really matter. I'm a little going for the flavor. And I ain't no professional roux maker, y'all. I ain't no Cajun. I ain't claiming to be. I watched old Bruce Mitchell. He made a roux on the Blackstone flat top over there, and he did brown his flour. He had his flour brown before he ever added any oil to it. And I think it's better if I'd have just used butter instead of oil. But I had that olive oil sitting there, and that's why I used it. But I've got it about brown like I want it. I don't want it dark, you know. I about got it about where I want it. Peanut butterish colored. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, y'all, come on. We're going to get them caramelized. And then we're going to dump off in there that meat and let them all go to cook. All right, now, look. That right there is boiling. Oh, I cut it slam off. I'm going to have to play with that. It went slam out again. Which tells me I got the air wrong, I think. That may do it. But I may need to just pull it off the fire a little bit. I adjusted my air to where it was down a little. That's probably how I need to do that right there. Tip it over there where I can see in there. That's what I'll do. I'm learning. Oh, y'all, that is smelling righteous. Smelling righteous. Uh-oh, chicken fight. They get wound up down there sometime. Add a little more heat to this one. We fixing to add a little more seasoning now to this. Let me get some seasoning. This one is the salt. I like plenty of salt on my food. And then I like plenty of this. Eat them raw. We're gonna go heavy with it. We're gonna turn the color with it. And I like old Tony Satchery's too now. But now this stuff ain't got a lot of salt in it. I didn't add a lot. Then I'm gonna add some black pepper. All right. I ain't stingy with my seasoning. I hear them talk about, say, white folk don't use no seasoning. I said, well, they ain't come eat with me because I put plenty of seasoning on what I'm eating. I'm going to taste it. I like to taste it. I'm tempted to put a little bit more oil in there because the bottom of that skillet is getting, see that? I may ought to add just a touch of oil. But there's a thing about these squirt bottles right here. You can add just a little bit right quick. Ain't hurt nothing, see? Now, olive oil is handy for that. Boy, that olive oil's high. Y'all bought a bottle lately? I bought one of them, I guess it's like a liter, I don't know, half-gallon jug, something like that. It was about $30-something. I said, whoo, we're gonna have to be stingy with that. We ain't stingy with the seasoning, but we might have to be stingy with the oil. Oh yeah, look at that rice cooking over there. Put that lid back on it like that. I'm steadily stirring in this. You really ain't supposed to have to just constantly stir, but no more oil's in the bottom of that. I don't want it sticking. But I'm finna put that meat back in there, and that'll help. And then when I get the meat and the tomato sauce and all that, we're gonna leave it on low and we're gonna simmer it for a little while, and we'll sit over there and talk. I got a cup of coffee over here, and I guarantee you it done about got cold. I'd set it right here, but it's got this foam pad on the bottom of it, so I can't let it get hot. So somebody tell me what we call what I'm making here. I don't know what we're gonna call it. I bet there's a name for it somewhere. I ain't the first person done this. I guess when we use them jalapenos, we probably throw the loop on them names instead of bell pepper. I think I'm fixing to add the meat back to it. Yeah. Oh, now what? You know what'd have been real good in there? If we'd have had a couple of slices of bacon to chopped up and thrown in there, would have been money. Yeah, that would have been money. If we'd have had about 4 or 5 slices of bacon, finely chopped up and drop them off in there, oh Lord, y'all. It'd have made a puppy pull a freight train. Angels would have went to singing when we dropped it in there. Yeah. All right. Y'all done live over in that pot long enough. Now, y'all be done slam starved to death staring over in there. You can't be, I'm going to have to get y'all's head out of there. And I don't know how long I need to let it cook before I add that jar of tomato sauce. These was canned last year. Look at there. Ooh, y'all know that's gonna be fine. Oh Lord. Oh, man, my mouth's watering just thinking about it, much less standing here smelling it. And that rice, oh. I need to drop some butter off in there. I think I got some butter right out here. Yeah, I found a stick of butter right there in my outside refrigerator. I had it stashed away. Yeah. I tell you what I'm gonna do though. I'll tell you real quick what I'm finna do. Y'all already know, don't you? Well, one or two of you might. This first big hunk of butter, we're gonna put right off in the middle of there. Yeah. You know that's gonna improve things. Bury it in there, we did. Yeah. Now we got another big hunk, and we're gonna drop it right off in the middle of that rice. Yes, sir. We sure did. You can't get fat if you don't use butter, so we trying to be fat and happy here. And no, we ain't struggling to get fat. We're working on it very nicely. There comes one of our celebrities. Come here, boy. He got some treats in yonder that he likes, him sausage Uncle Sasquatch sent. Oh, ow. We're going to have to get him some gloves for them paws over there. You smelling something there, are you? What do you think? She's tiptoed up behind the camera trying to stay hid.
Hey, everybody.
She just come out here wanting to smell it. What do you think? I put a big old chunk of butter off in there. What do you think?
Smells good.
What about that? I got butter melting in there. Cooker is working fine. Now, I got some getting used to on it. Reckon that's where I can pour that tomato juice off in there yet? I believe so. I bet they want to watch that happen though. I just feel sure that they want to see that transpire. I wouldn't rob y'all of the joy. Let me wipe the dust off the top of this. And I don't know how much of it I need. And I would say I know how much I'm gonna put, but I don't know how much I'm gonna put. I'm gonna pour about half of it, I think, and we're gonna, oh yeah, we're gonna put all of it. Yeah, I can tell you now, we're gonna put every bit of it. Yeah. I don't know how much I'm gonna need, but I know how much I'm gonna put. I said it there. Y'all happy? Oh, there's probably some Italian somewhere going, I don't know what kind of, I don't know if this is Cajun or Italian or, it's redneck, I can tell you that. Because I just kind of come up with it. I ain't got no recipe book out here. Ow! Get this spoon I made. We're going to have to sample a little. so I gotta taste it. The only way you can effectively cook is if you taste it while you cooking. Need salt. Oh, it's a simmering. Yep, salt. A little more eat 'em raw. Y'all see it bubbling in there? Just look at it. Just look at that, would you? Would you just look at that? This stuff don't come out real good. I like a plenty of it. I may have to put the top off and spoon it in there. And I'm gonna see how I may add some cayenne pepper to it, because I want it a little bit spicy, but we'll see here in a little while. I ain't gonna add it just yet. We're gonna let this cook just like so for a little bit. I think I can cut that rice off. In fact, I know I'm gonna cut it off. It's pretty well cooked. I'm gonna let it sit right here though. Reckon I ought to put the lid on this. Oh, I know what I want to do. I want to taste it. Since I added seasoning, just a small amount. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's gonna be fine. In fact, I won't finish cooking with that spoon so I can sample. And yeah, I licked the spoon that I'm gonna start with, but it's just me and my wife here eating, and well, I ain't gotta go no further than that. If I had company over, I wouldn't do that. I promise y'all I wouldn't. But that's the beauty of just cooking for yourself. You can do like you want to, and it don't matter. Man, y'all, that smells good. I'm telling you. I'm about hungry. I could put that right there on a piece of loaf bread and eat it, I can tell you. But I may add some more seasoning here directly. We'll just have to see. After it gets hot, that flavor will change a little bit. Oh, it's getting tomatoey now, yeah. Gonna be good. Yes, sir, it is. All right. I may have to set her flour dipper back in the house. I don't know. She may come out here after. I don't want that to scorch. So I'm going to turn it down a mite lower. So I know y'all, and it's difficult for me to get that camera in there where you can see good. I was trying, you can see it. I got the fire low on it. I'll be fooled around out here and made some of y'all seasick. Be sitting on the couch getting woozy. Y'all know what woozy is? Man, y'all look in there. Don't let me get over here and get to talking and forget about it now. My coffee's... I tell you what I need to do. I need to go get me a spoonful of coffee and make coffee on this other thing right over here is what I need to do. But I know what I can do. We don't need no more coffee. Let's do it like this right here. I had tea last night. That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna set that right here by that. It'll stay warm. I'm gonna add a little more goldenrod. I got a milk jug of water over here that I just keep out here because I really ain't decided if that is goldenrod dried. put plenty in there. So just suppose somebody questions, I just like goldenrod, and see it's got this basket that drops down in there. I made this tea last night, so I'm just gonna add to it. And we'll be drinking goldenrod tea here shortly. Hey. So I'll go finish my coffee. We'll sit over here and chit chat now. I had to get up and keep an eye on that. My wife brought this chair out there. I think she debooed that chair from her daddy. And yes, y'all, it is raining. Let me adjust this camera now. I had it stand jacked way up. Can y'all see me right there? Yes, sir. Lord, y'all, we got 152 people on here tonight. Oh, Lord. Thank y'all all for joining in. I get carried away when I get to cooking, y'all, because I really enjoy cooking. I really do. Now, I don't like to have worked all day and come in and have to throw something together. You know, I like to cook when I want to. Don't most men. Stand out here and holler, hey, bring me this. You know, I cooked the meat and carried it in there, and you didn't make nothing to go with it. But look, I made my own rice. Y'all ought to be proud of me. See if we can get the live pulled up where I can read chit chats on here. I gotta watch an ad too, so y'all don't get frustrated. It's the only way I can make $1. Well, Tommy Litchfield has made it on here. Oh, I just closed out the what did I do? The live chat. I turned the live chat off. I got it back on. Oh, Lord, they all kind of comments. I'm going to scroll back through them just to kind of get an idea of who all's on there. I see my buddy Mike Reed and Local Life. Oh, I see all kind of people on there. I ain't even gonna try to call names because I love all y'all the same and I don't want to be playing favorites. But Tommy Litchfield has missed the last couple. You know, last week we got to talk about where's Tommy at. Well, Tommy and Martin Meltzer has been missing in action for about 2 weeks. Both of them lost a computer, so we might ought to have a moment of silence for their computers. They'll get them another, and they done got wired back up, back online. Oh, Lord. The rain, y'all, I don't know how well the Starlink is going to handle the rain. It is lightly raining, so it has, I guess it's doing all right. I hadn't read through the comments to actually see if anybody said anything about it, but if it goes in and out, I mean, if it starts skipping and locking up, we may have to shut it down. But anyway, Lord, we done been at this an hour already. Good Lord. I just realized we'd been on here that long. It took me a while to get wound up, didn't it? Ryan Forrester, I'll be honest with you. I told my daddy when we was building that thing, I said, now if I had me a good piece of flat metal and weld me some 1-inch sides around it, I could set it right over on there, and I guarantee you turn that thing into a Blackstone just like that. Flat top cooker. Oh, Maiden 13, how are you? Oh, I guarantee you it would work. Oh, well, my other burner has went out over there where my tea is. All right, I got it fixed out. What I done is I went the wrong way a while ago with the air on it. Oh, Mike Reeves, when am I coming back to Pontotoc? We are, I don't know, we're planning on making a trip up to southern Tennessee before 2 got awful long because the Amish make a swing I want to hang right back here. Now, I could probably make my own swing, but my wife has requested that I let the Amish make me a swing. In other words, we'll drive up there and buy one from them. They have some here, but they're quite pricey. But they twice the price here because they mark them up, to resell them. So I'm going to go up there. We're going to deliver pottery up there at some point before 2 got awful long. So I really don't have definite dates, plans on where I'm going where. But anyway, I was reading it, some comments. I don't know exactly what town it's at in Tennessee. Maybe Etheridge. Does that sound right? Is that where the Amish is? Somewhere up there. I keep wanting to think Lawrenceburg, but I don't think it's in Lawrenceburg. I think Etheridge or somewhere. Is Etheridge up west of Nashville, Huckleberry? That is where I am going to go. And we're going to go up there and buy a swing at some point. And so when I come through there, I may can stop, but Etheridge is right above Lawrenceburg. So that is the plan. I don't know. When we were at Tom Bigby, we talked to a couple that was from South Mississippi, that they was camped up there by us and was catfishing and catching some catfish. Wonderful couple. Actually, it was 2 couples. There was an older couple and then their daughter and her husband, and they were all fishing together. And they said that they used to go stay up there a good bit, and they would buy stuff from the Amish, and they said you could drive through there and just stop and buy stuff. So I'm assuming that it's still that way. I've never been there, but I have always wanted to go through and see some of that part of the country. And if it's up there close to some of y'all, especially Uncle Sasquatch, I would love to come drop in on some of y'all, but I don't know how far it is. I mean, how far it is from there. I hadn't pulled a map up and looked at all of it. But I do want to travel up that way sometime here before, I don't know how long. And I don't know, I probably have to pull a trailer up there to haul a swing back in, because the swing I'm wanting's got like a center console in it, so it's pretty good size. And I don't know if it'll fit in the back of the Nissan Armada. And my old truck ain't got no air conditioning in it. I need to have that fixed. There's old Martin Meltzer. Glad all y'all got them computers straightened out and back online. We was missing y'all. I mean, we like to tear it up last week when some of y'all wasn't here. We'll do that, Huckleberry. I'll stop and check them out. Tony Parker, I may have to check into that. Jerome Williams, I drove right through Fayette, Alabama twice well, I drove through Monday and then we drove through there Friday. And I thought about it. I'm going to tell y'all what my problem is. Whenever I get to a town, I'll say, you know, somebody said they was from here. In my mind, at that moment, I don't know. Now, I can come back and dig through comments sometimes and find it. So let me leave you with this. I can find messages through my email, and I can find messages on my Facebook Messenger. Aside from there, unless you've, obviously, if you've got my number and we text back and forth or something, but if you're one of them people that would like to meet me and I'm coming through a town, if I can usually find people through messages, and I like to stop, but now I'll be honest with you, a lot of times, like when we were coming through from Alabama back home the other day, we had getting home on our mind, and I probably wasn't going to stop nowhere then for any length of time because Roscoe had been at the house for 3 or 4 days and he was waiting on me to get here, and I was trying to get here as fast as I could. Jail, I ain't had no AC in that truck in 2 or 3 years. Now when I was doing metal roofing, I kept it working, but the compressor quit. So when the compressor locked up, I felt real sure that the dryer in it's got to be replaced. The line's all blowed out. So I figure I'm looking at $300 or $400 to have it fixed, maybe more than that. But now, if this gets to where I have to start traveling off in it very much, I'll have that fixed. And I need to do it anyway. And the main reason is like me and Brody going to town in it. I need it working for him because sitting in the back seat, it gets hot. I don't mind it. I can roll the window down. I don't care if it's got AC or not. I ride with the window down, but now. Thank you, Nancy. That is that grill is something I walked into a place last year that sold something similar to this, but it was a lot more rickety. It was a flimsy thing. And I was gonna buy one here not long ago and they didn't have none. I said, well, can you order me one? They said, no, we're not gonna have any more of them. I said, all right, thank you. And that's when I started getting on Amazon and saying, you know what? I can fix this myself, and I'm better off. I've got a lot more well-built grill or cooker, and the lower pot is to my design for my wash pot. The other one had a thing where I was gonna have to attach something. That wash pot is rounded on the bottom, and the bottom is lower than the legs. So even if you set it on a flat table over there, it rocks around, and it just, y'all know how they are. So all right, Huckleberry, I'll look into that. Diva, that rain's headed y'all's way. It didn't get here till late this afternoon. In fact, I turned my sprinklers on. I waited on it to rain all day and give up on it and turned the sprinklers on and let them run. In about 15 minutes, it started raining. I was like, well, sir, but them tomatoes, my garden wasn't drying out, nothing was dying, but if tomatoes don't get a regular rain or regular watering, that's what develops that blossom end rot a lot of times. You think it's, okay, it's a calcium, and it is in a sense, but a lot of times it has more to do with the water not pulling the nutrients up to the plant than it is it not being in the ground. And so a regular water cycle is important. And if you let them sit there for like a week that it don't get no water, and all of a sudden it starts raining real hard and it'll get a lot of water, that's what'll make them split. So if they get a regular water and they growing kind of steady, they won't split as bad. So that's why I was wanting to water that. Mike Reeves, the park swapper, is doing all right. It's on this end. It's running a close race with the celebrities. The Romas are doing really good, but they're short plants, but they're full, and they've got a lot of tomatoes in there, like big clusters of tomatoes in there. But the plants are shorter, but they are probably the greenest. The biggest, prettiest, best plants down there is the big beef. I don't know what it is about them, y'all. I've got to try to make sure I get plenty seed out of them this year, but I have not done well with the seed I started, but now I waited late to start my seed. What I really need is I need me a miniature greenhouse built somewhere out here that I can start my seeds in early. It's hard to do it under lights. And I'll tell you why. You can pull them out of them grow lights, and I burnt some up. I set them out in the sun, and that sun cooked them in just a little bit. Let me go stir my pot over here before I burn it. I'm also going to get my tea while I'm over there. Oh, all right. Got me some tea. Goldenrod tea. I like goldenrod. Tommy, you done got back to reading? I ain't had no problem showing with my peach trees, but now I have got some plum bushes down there that I mean all of a sudden they got some big brown patches that some kind of disease has got in. I hadn't had time, or when I have had time, I was doing something else probably. But I've got some Rodale's gardening books, and you can go through there, and they are the treasury of garden by Rodale's. Is the best thing to go through there and look and see what you got. So I don't know. It could sitting here guessing it could be a lot of different things. Yellow and black spots. It almost sounds like some kind of a blight. That's what happens to my tomatoes. When my tomatoes start getting in blight, y'all, I try to pick all them bottom limbs off as touching the dirt. And when you got 50-something plants, it's hard to do that. But I've been going through and trying to be pretty diligent about that and pulling them up in them cages. So that helps a lot when they can get plenty air and stuff. So it could be from a lot of rain. It could be from, I don't know. And once it gets on there, though, it'll about spread through all of it. And it may be from being dry. I don't know. So Tommy was talking about reading some. I've got back to reading. I was wanting to start reading one of those books that Martin had sent, that Hunter Yo. But I've got a book I had started back several months ago, and then I laid it down, and it's Zane Grey's The Deer Stalker. Now that's interesting. They trying to. I ain't got through with the book, so I don't know what all happens. Right now, they trying to trap deer, and they talking about trying to drive them. So it was interesting. But Zane Grey's a pretty good writer. Keith Brigham, you like to drive with the windows down too? Do you also wait till you absolutely can't see before you turn the windshield wipers on? I get fussed at. We going somewhere and it starts raining in the rain. We got that Rain X. I buy that Rain X window washer so the rain will start running off the window. I just keep dry. I don't ever do. If you turn it on and go to wipe and it's bad to smear stuff around, Michelle will go to fussing. Turn the windshield wipers on. I'm like, well, I can see fine. She said, but I can't. I said, but I'm driving. but she turns them on, or I do. So I usually lose that battle. Sometimes you gotta pick your fights. You don't get too hard on them fights. It ain't important. John, a lot of what we grow, we give away some of it. But now the lady that I give a lot of stuff to has got a garden this year. Um, my dad has helped her get some stuff to where she can have a garden. A lot of times we'll take stuff to people at the church, and a lot of times just take a grocery sack full of extra stuff and set it down. But we are trying to get a small building. My dad built him a new shooting, reloading building over there that he shoots out of, a lot bigger. The little building he had, he's drug up here in the yard and want to do something with it. So we are probably fixing to drag it over here, and it's a small building, and set some pottery in it to where we've got some pottery here for sale. And my wife said I would love to sell some of our vegetables at it. That is an idea. It ain't in the works at all, so I don't know. But most of it we give away. We can everything we want, but I'm going to be honest with you. Squash, zucchini, cucumbers, stuff like that, I have found it is very hard to preserve that stuff. It don't freeze good. If you'll batter it, you can kind of flash freeze it. It does okay. But other than that, like us sauteing stuff on the Blackstone, you can't really preserve it for that kind of stuff. And I'm not a huge fan of a lot of pickled stuff. I like to eat some pickles. I like to eat pickled okra, pickled squash. Pickled squash is actually good. We've pickled about everything, but we just don't eat a lot of it. And it goes to waste. It's a lot of work that goes into pickling it that winds up not really being eat. So I don't know. It's one of them things. I'll have to see what we're going to do with most of it. We give a lot of it away, though. David Russian, I got that pot for a little of nothing. When my dad was working at a scrap yard, some folks come in there with it and an anvil and some other junk they was throwing away. They was cleaning out their grandpa's old barn. They was hauling all that old junk off. They had no idea what they was doing, and I got lucky on that. But now used to, you could buy them wash pots here in good shape for about $75. Now I think they have went up past that a good bit here lately. Well, thank you. Let's do this. You're in Troy, Alabama. The baptism was a special thing for me, y'all. It really was, to get to be a part of that. I mean, it's a huge deal for the people being baptized, but it was still very special for me as well to know that God is using you to help people. There's no greater feeling, y'all, than knowing I'm benefiting other people. I sit here and enjoy a lot of my own work, a lot of my own. It's like this cooker, and I'm cooking on it. I mean, that's me getting to enjoy the fruits of my labor. But when you get to see other people being blessed and their lives affected by things you've done, that is one of the greatest rewards. That is why the Bible says it is more blessed to give than to receive. It is a great blessing to know that I have helped them people. And I only played a small part. I'm nothing great. It's just efforts it's made that God give the increase, and I'm thankful that God is using me. So it was special to me. And there's Miss Amy Terry there. Michelle, you better get ready to come out here and get these pots. I think that stuff's about done. She said she's in there watching. Ricky Johnson, I don't know what I'm cooking. I'll be honest with you. It might be Cajun, it might be Italian, it might just be redneck. I don't know. But it's ground beef with jalapenos diced up, celery diced up, onions diced up. We made a little roux to put it in there, and then we poured a quart jar of tomato juice off in it, and it's over there simmering, and we're going to have it over rice. So, anyway, Jason McAllister, have you thought about what the next medicinal plant? I really have not. And I'm ready to do some medicinal plants, but I've had so much going on. We've been gone. We got home. I'm trying to catch up on pottery, and I built that cooker the first day, and I was trying to get my garden back in order because it had growed up, and I had to work on it. So I had a whole bunch of stuff that I had to do, and I've got 2 or 3 videos I have got to film. I've got a new pair of boots on my feet that I have got to do a video on. I said I wasn't going to do no more boot videos, but they sent me this shoe. And y'all, when I seen it, I said, man, that is a squirrel hunter's dream in Mississippi. Now, I don't worry about snakes. I know some of y'all, I really had rather hunt barefooted. But it is a pretty long hike back to the swamp. And this is a light shoe like a moccasin, and it is waterproof. The bad thing about a real moccasin here is early in the morning, a lot of dew on the ground, and they soaked just walking across the yard. I like a moccasin. Now, them deck boots I did the other day, I love them. I'm still wearing them. They're excellent garden boots. But this thing, look at the grip that this thing's got. It is one piece molded rubber. Ain't nowhere it can come apart and leak except for right up here. These are made by True Dave. Yeah, True Dave. And I've been wearing them. I ain't doing no unboxing video. I've been wearing these for about 3 or 4 days just to see, and I like them. This is going to be the squirrel hunting shoe. And when I looked through, I was like, I don't want to. I didn't even open their email up. I said, I ain't going to do no more boot video. I don't want to do no more. I done enough shoe boot videos. And I seen this one, I was like, I've got to have that boot. Yeah. So this is what, and they sent me a big pair of camouflage rubber boots to go with it. So I got to do that video. I've got a full-size axe from Beavercraft that showed up. So I got to do both of those videos next week. And I would have done them. I may film one of them tomorrow. I don't know. But I have got to gear up to preach. Obviously, I got my just-in-time that I've got a film doing. I'm preaching at our church here Sunday morning. And then as of today, I got asked to preach at another local church for a friend of ours here in town. So basically, it's a cross town out in the county. So I'll be down towards House, Mississippi, preaching Sunday night. So I got a lot of getting my mind on what I'm going to preach, which I already know about what I'm going to preach here. But now I got to figure out another, you know, and I'm not one of them like, hey, I've got this one sermon, I just preach at both places. I don't do that. I don't, unless the Lord says, yeah, this is what I, you know, but if he does that, I will. But anyway. But I am ready to do some medicinal plants. I am. I love doing them.
What you need?
We fixed that. Go pull that lid off that pot and see if you're ready to.
Which I ain't hungry right now.
John McGrew, I'm very much wanting to pull something here before too awful long here. We'll most definitely probably plan a stew in the fall when it's cooling off. Pitching a tent here, you got to be able to take the heat, which you probably may well know if you live very close. It's pretty hot here in the summer. But I don't know what I'm going to do about it. Probably be planning something for the fall will be the first thing till I can get squared away. I wanted to do like a fish fry, but one thing is it takes a lot of funds. Is that ready to cook? I mean to eat?
I don't know.
Well, get us 2 bowls out here and we'll just spoon it up in a bowl and eat it.
I'm not hungry right now.
You ain't? Well, bring me a...
I've been eating blackberry cobbler.
She's been in there in that blackberry cobbler. Lord help. Thank you. Let's do this. I try to follow the Holy Ghost. I don't. It's a serious thing for me. I know a lot of preachers think, well, it's just a job. The Lord will bless anything you do. I don't see it that way. To try to tell people what they need to do with their lives is a very serious thing for me. Probably the most serious. And I want to know feel like I am led by the Spirit to do that. Not just, hey, this is what I like and what I think. That ain't worth a flip. Tommy, she's got it figured out in there, ain't she? Nancy, I'm not sure about the swamp cabbage. I have not harvested, found it, and ate it. I do think it is here. I'm not sure. We have the whatever you call it, the arrowhead shaped plant with the potato under it in the swamps. I had not found that till last year. I found some late in the year, and then I never made it back to try to harvest any of it. So, and I need to go check on my pawpaws. What time of year does the pawpaws get ready? I know where they're at in the swamp. I need to go it's a long hike in there to where they are, but I need to go get a check on them. Her name is Terry. Okay. Thank you. John, yeah, and the Lord is moving. So on the touch of the Lord moving, y'all know I've mentioned this video. My buddy Casey, that comes up, he's my cousin, comes up here and hunts with me. Has been to Tom Bigby with me. He has had a life-changing experience similar to mine. Casey has had some struggles very similar to the way my life was prior to being delivered, and the Lord has saved him. He's said he ain't drank this all week. This all happened like last week into Sunday. So Brody's up rambling around. So the Lord's moving, y'all. The Lord is at work. It is a good time to be trying to follow the Lord. Does that shoe have a vibram sole? I don't know what that means. What is a vibram sole, Michelle?
I don't know.
D. Hunter, what is the best medicinal plants book for the Arkansas region? I'm not sure.
You may need to cut this off.
You're borderline. Let me cut this off. You're borderline between areas, between Midwest and Southeast, so I don't know. Oh, over that rice, y'all. Look at that. Let me cut them cookers off. All right, give me a moment here. Dear Lord, we're so thankful for this food, for this time, Lord, to spend with people online. We ask you, Lord, to bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies, to give us strength and good health. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So, y'all, I have a theory about saying grace over my food. A lot of people probably don't do it, don't think it's necessary, but you know, we got all these people worried about pesticides and worried about what chemicals is in this and worried about in that. Y'all, that is exactly why I pray over my food. If there's something bad in there that's going to harm me, I pray over it, and then the Lord blesses it. If he can't fix it, well, then it can't be fixed. That is one of my reasons for praying over it. Oh, yeah. That is good right there now. Yeah, that's fit to eat there. I ain't gonna sit here and tell you it's the best thing I've ever had, but it's pretty good for old country boy just cooking for himself. What y'all think about that bowl? That's that speckled new bowl. I made that bowl. My wife painted it though. She come up with that color. I'll tell you what else that bowl does good. It holds ice cream real good. You know, Mike Reeves and I had a bucket full of chanterelles in yonder somewhere. Me and Brody picked them the other day. He loves to pick mushrooms. I forgot all about them, or I would have put them in there. It never crossed my mind. Philip, you got it figured out. Yeah, John, a piece, and you know there's some cornbread in yonder somewhere from last night. No, it don't taste like cobbler. I can't lie about that now. I usually starve somebody slammed to death around here on this camera, don't I? John McGraw, we got some of the best blueberry vines you ever seen. My mama and them's had them for years. Everybody in this part of the county has picked blueberries off of them. I mean, they load up with blueberries, and Brody eats them like crazy. He'll go down there, and they're starting to get ripe. They picking a few right now. Mike Reeves, after this rain, if you find hard-wooded areas, you'll start finding some chanterelles. The chanterelles are by far the easiest to find. They're going to be orange looking and look like a, what do you call that horn on one of them old megaphones or whatever? You know, the old antique phonograph. Yeah, got that big old horn. That's what they look like. And they'll have veins running straight up. They don't have any gills. They got veins running up the side of the stem. Brian, how are you tonight, bud? He been doing some camping. He's already got me wanting to get my traditional boat built. I'm probably going to have to build it off camera to get it done because I keep wanting to film it. That's what's held me up. I need to just build it, not worry about filming it. Do I know any Lassiter? There was a preacher that come through here. His last name was Lassiter. A good preacher, too. Tommy said all mushrooms was edible once. He's right. May not ever eat a nothing. I'm fixing to go ahead and get me another bowl of this. For all good things, it's a good idea to pray over your food, especially, you know, if you believe in the Lord, because you really and truly, we don't know what all we eat when we buy a lot of stuff. Now, a lot of this, the tomatoes we can, now the rice, I don't know what was done to it. It come out of a sack. The celery, those onions, and them peppers was store-bought, so you don't know what was sprayed on them. I don't worry about stuff leaching through the soil up into a plant, but now what you spray on that plant could very well soak into it. I've done a bunch of research on those stuff leaching up out of the soil into a plant. It may leach a little, but not in a harmful level, so I don't worry about all that. Appalachian Explorer said, I've got a question for everyone. My 7-year-old grandson went swimming in the lake, and afterwards he got a fever. Now he's broke out all over. Any ideas what this could be? And he's having an allergic reaction to something. The first thing I'd do is give him a good bath and make sure they ain't nothing still on his skin from that water. He's allergic to something that was in that water, or either he drank some of the water and it had something in it. But yes, we'll be praying for him. Yeah, first thing I'd do is I'd give back. Brody has been breaking out. We've about discovered it's Brody's washing powder. And it breaks out from the tiles that we drying him off with. So did you dry him off with some kind of tile that we've been fighting with this for about 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks now. And we about got it down, and then he went and stayed with Mama, and I think it is more of Tide washing powder. They all have it. Oh, I'm trying to think. There was definitely something in the water that they encountered, whether it's a plant or creosote off the poles, what something. But they have broke out in like rash and whelps and stuff. I'd definitely give them a good bath. Make sure I had everything off of them, off their skin. But even still, then you got to deal with the rash and the. I do know if your fever is your body fighting off something, so fever is a good thing until it gets too high. If it gets too high, you want bone set. I got videos on bone set. Bone set will break fever, bring it down. Yeah, Randall, we had to quit using it. I was raised on Tide washing powder. But Brody's been breaking every time he'd get out of the tub, he'd break out in whelps. And we figured out it was the towels we was drying him off with. That stuff that was softening them with or something. And she changed to some other kind of. Dear Lord, touch these kids, though. Help them get over that. Ryan, good to see you. Have a good night. Roscoe's sitting here like he's hungry. I'm fixing to go load my bowl back up. Look at him sitting there. Uncle Sasquatch wanted to see him, I know. I get through with this bowl here, I'm gonna have to work on that cobbler in there she's keeping hid from him. Uncle Sasquatch. Tony Parker, you talking about Giardia? Where they get sick from the... Usually, though, that induces a lot of vomiting. Oh. This rash and whelps tells me that there's something on the skin that has triggered it, but the fever means they could have ingested some of the water and it could be hurting them from the in. I tell you, it could. A plantain can't hurt. You can eat plantain from snake bites and stuff. And right now, if you got fresh plantain, if you get something and you need to, like a snake bite and drawing the venom, they say to eat the plant and put it on the outside. So it's worth a try. But I would. I'm like Jason McAllister now, y'all. If it starts getting serious, I wouldn't diddle around with no kid. I'd take them on to the doctor and see what's going on. If it's just a mild fever, then by all means battle it yourself. But now, and I'll say this: anytime that you start getting an extremely high fever, it's like 103 and going up. Use the bone set. Make the bone set tea, break the fever, but you need to go to the doctor anyway and see why your fever is that bad. I mean, because that ain't solving your problem. Just let that be a clear. The bone set's to get you out of a bind, but you still got a problem of some kind. And if you don't know what it is, you need to go let somebody figure it out. Algernon, I put ground beef in that Dutch oven on my new cooker. We browned the ground beef, pulled it out, put it in a bowl, and then we used some oil and we made a small roux, like a very, very little bit of roux. And then we dropped diced up, very finely chopped up jalapenos, onion, and celery in there. Into the roux, and then we put the meat back in there, and then we put a quart of tomatoes, canned tomatoes in there, and we mixed it with rice. And that is what we've got now. It is good, and we season it up with salt, black pepper, and eat them raw. And it's pretty doggone fit to eat. Holly Edwards, thank you. Glad you're enjoying it. John, I have been playing a little bit, but not a lot. I ain't had time this week. I was playing more before we left and went on a trip. Like I said, I've come back. We've been playing catch up to get the garden squared away. Pottery orders come in, and anytime you take about 3 or 4 days off and don't do nothing, then I don't know how in the world everybody gets up. I don't know how everybody gets anything done. I see these people that go to work, come home, and don't never go outside and do nothing. I don't know how in the world they get anything done. I'm working from home, my little shed, making pottery. And it's hard for me to get all my pottery made for trying to keep everything around here done. I don't know how people get away with not doing nothing. Uncle Sasquatch, I decided this week I was going to order my barrel for my muzzleloader. I've had it on my mind. Turned on one of them Mountain Man books. I like to listen to Mountain Man books, and I'm listening to a series by some fella, I can't even now who it is. Grizzly Pass was it was blood hunting in Grizzly Pass, and now I've got the Devil's Children, something like that. It's a pretty good series. I think it's like 9 or 10 books. Anyway, I got to listen to them because I was like, oh, we got to get in black powder mode. I don't want to wait too late, So I got on Deer Creek, was gonna order me a barrel. They had one for $115. None in stock. No barrels to be had for an old muzzleloader. So y'all, I don't know what we're gonna do now. May not be no muzzleloader hunting. We gotta have a barrel or a rifle, or gotta have a muzzleloader. We gotta come up with something. I ain't got $800 to go buy a kit to build right yet, so I don't know what we're gonna do.
We got a conundrum we need you to do.
Uh-oh.
Brody's playing swamp people, and his alligator boat, he says a spider went up in there, and I can't get it pulled apart.
Well, sir, I spend half my time, y'all, working on toys. Got a spider in it.
He said that's the only boat he could use to alligator hunt.
This is the only alligator hunting boat, huh?
Yeah.
Well, and you said there's a spider went in it.
Yeah, it's a black one.
A black spider.
Yeah.
Well, I know how to get him out of there.
It's a little black spider.
Little?
Yeah.
How big? Oh, you could have stomped him.
He's a little one, but I was scared that he was a black one.
Well, I reckon all I know to do is just...
Now you're going to have to fix my boat.
I don't see no
I
spider.
don't see no
Brody.
spider, son. What's that little black spot there?
That may have been what he thought it was.
Well, I don't know.
What makes it?
Here.
In that part. You get away from my rice.
All right.
You want some rice and
No?
some meat, and I don't know what to. Somebody done asked what it was, and I didn't know what to tell them.
All right, here you go.
Goulash.
I guess the spice.
We'll
fell
call it
out.
goulash.
I guess it did.
It was a spider. It was a little black spider. It was a black widow. I didn't see it.
It wasn't a black widow?
I didn't see any.
Yeah. Homestead Princess, we constantly working on toys around here. Constantly working on toys. Like Jamboli, yeah, something like that. Hillbilly jambalaya. It's got rice in it, and it is ground beef. Let me think. Ground beef, and then we jalapenos diced up, onion and celery diced up with a little small roux, and then we poured in a jar of canned tomatoes that we canned ourselves. And it is good. We served it over rice. We put a big old chunk of butter off in it. It's fit to eat. Thus, the second bowl. Since you run around 90% barefoot, what has been some of the craziest things you stepped on the land and in the creeks? You know, I don't just step on a lot of stuff because I watch. That is the purpose of going barefooted. It slows you down and you watch where you're putting them old feet. You pay a lot more. I promise you, you pull your shoes off and take off through the woods, you're going to move a whole lot slower. That is why you find a lot more stuff. So I hadn't really stepped on a lot of weird stuff. I'll tell you what I've stepped on that hurt the most was when me and JR and Nikki was down there fishing last year, and them little old bitty cypress knees down in that mud that was about that tall. Pretty tough. Oh, I really hadn't dug these sand spurs I've dug, and I've got a few splinters, thistle and stuff out, but I ain't really had any crazy, like, dangerous stuff to my feet. I've pretty much been blessed, I guess. I like goulash, Amy Terry. I think goulash is a good name for it. Sweet gum balls ain't too bad. They can get tough, but usually they ain't too bad back here. I'm probably, yeah, Homestead Princess, you got a point right there. I'm going to tell you what the worst is. I'll tell you right now, of course, we don't have jacks. Have not ever bought jacks, brought them here, because jacks is bad news for the feet. The little green army man has been the worst. Legos wasn't even that bad. Because a lot of them Legos is flat and rounded and all that. Them little green army man, that base, when it's sticking straight up like this, that army man laying down, and you step on him, oh man. Because it's always dark and you're half asleep, you know, you ain't paying attention then. Tommy, I heard them saltwater catfish was tough. Cause when I went fishing with Hayes Davis, he told me to not get finned by them. Yeah, that tractor over there, last week I had it pushed over there out of the way where it wouldn't be in sight. And he got on it and drove it out in the middle and left it. I looked around a while ago and he had it pulled up back over here again. I said, son, put that back over. The battery's dead in it. Well, he pushed it back a little ways and that's where it sat. So, yeah, it's famously part of the live chat. I guess we are advertising for, I don't know if that's Power Wheels or... Brody's got some wooden toys. He's got I made him a truck that's got a string on the front he can walk around and pull, but Brody's alligator hunting right now. That's all that's on his mind. I want to take him down to Bruce Mitchell's alligator farm sometime. Mater chili, that ain't no bad idea. Call it mater chili. Lady's thumb has a use, but I can't think right now off the top of my head what it is. It really is good. Now, a lot of something being good has to do with how much seasoning you put in there and how much seasoning you like. It should have probably had some... If you like it spicy, I should have added the chili pepper, the cayenne pepper to it. These jalapenos is not hot that's in here. But they do have a good flavor, I'll say that. Tell me, that sounds painful. We got a tub full of Lincoln logs. Now, he hadn't played with them in the last 6 months, probably much. A little bit, but now, last winter, I built more log cabins than anybody. He'd get them out and play with them, but I'd wind up having to build him a cabin. And all he wanted to do was get his army men and play around it with his army men. Yeah, Tommy, you got my feet hurting just thinking about that. I'm gonna sit right here and get fooled with what's gonna happen. I hadn't had to step on no jack, Randy Beeson, and it's partly because I could see where that was going. Brody don't even know there's a such thing as a jack. He don't know what a jack is. And if I got any authority over it, that's the way it's gonna stay. Yeah, Cynthia, I bet some okra would be good. It's got onions in it, but now it's got probably okra would have been good. But now when I go to cooking, 9 times out of 10, I don't be like, hey, I'm gonna cook this, and I go to town and buy all the stuff for that. I decide, hey, I'm fixing to cook, and I go open the refrigerator and say, what have we got? And that is usually my number one mentality. So tonight what happened is she said, I'm going to put this deer roast in the crock pot. And I was like, well, I kind of wanted to cook. We was sitting out there on the porch with coffee this morning. I said, well, I wanted to cook on my new cooker on the live tonight. I wanted to use the new cooker I built. Well, what you going to cook on? I said, I don't know. I was like, what we got? She said, well, they got ground beef and that deer roast. She said, and I wanted to put that deer roast in the crock pot. I said, okay, you cook it Saturday and I'll cook the ground beef tonight. So that's how we come up with it. So after I knew I had ground beef to cook, I was sitting here thinking of what all can I cook with ground beef. Now, obviously, I could have made this same dish that I just made with fish, deer meat, squirrel, rabbit, steak, pork, chicken, you know. That's the way I look at it. Meat's just meat. But I'm not big to overthink my cooking. It's about me filling this gut right here, this tank. Ashley and Ford Ranger. Hello, how are y'all? That is Cynthia Hubble's baby girl, Ashley. I like the way you spell that name, Ashley. That is cool. Jennifer Ocean Homestead. How are you tonight? Jerome Williams, we had to see if Roscoe likes old boiled okra here before the summer's out. I had to replant my row this week. After that video I made and I fought with that planter so much, the okra didn't even come up. I took that hole, I had a gallon Ziploc bag. It was about that deep all the way across the bottom, and okra seeds I'd saved. I poured them in the chicken pen. We've been to start over. I have let some seeds ruin, partly because I had got out of space in my freezer. I'm full now. We're going to let that settle a little bit before we get into that peach cobbler. I figure that it's blackberry cobbler. I figure it needs a couple of scoops of ice cream with it. I just think that's the way that's going to have to happen. Nancy, I have never canned anything. I've never canned any meat except stew. I have canned up some stew I made. I wanted to can fish, and I have just not been able to make that happen yet. Now that I've got this cooker built, we're going to start doing some pressure canning out here, because the last several evenings we have spent sitting right out here just relaxing. Brody was at her mama's for 2 days with those grandyoungins that's over there. So we kind of had it to ourselves. I sat right here and read my book. She brought that chair and set it over here and was reading a book. And one thing I have got to get my head out of this stuff as much as I do, because I'll tell you what gets me is Instagram reels. I get on Instagram to check my notifications. So I have backed off on how many reels I put on Instagram. It's something I started just playing with. It's as big as a YouTube channel as far as how many people's following. There's like 27,000 people on it following it. But those reels just suck you in. I mean, if you sitting there and you do, and in 30 minutes, you don't realize 30 minutes is went by and you done watched a bunch of garbage that you ain't even interested in. Is the problem? It's just, I don't know, it's crazy. Tony Parker, we didn't plant no popcorn. I'm going to be honest with you. I found some clay peas that was in a bag, and I said, you know what, I want to plant these, and I planted a row of clay peas there. I didn't have no popcorn to plant. I have got a fingernail that is, I don't know, it done got jacked up somehow here. So I don't know how I wanted to plant some popcorn, but then again I didn't get it done. Didn't make it to the store to get any. Roscoe usually gets to clean them plates and bowls, but there's a lot of folks that they cringe when they see the dog eating out of the plate. So I try not to do that on camera too much. I might lose half my following, Regan. I don't know why it matters. We take them in there and wash them with soap. You know, my mama's like that, dude. She don't let the dog lick out of her plate. She won't come eat with you. And I'm like, well, you'll go to the restaurant and stick that old fork in your mouth that's been in no telling whose mouth, you know, and they just run it through some hot water and a little dab of soap. Might have had soap, might not have. Yeah, I'd rather eat after Roscoe than I had. Jason, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, but my Facebook, I really don't ever get on my personal Facebook page to where I can see everybody else's post. I just get on my social media, my Spirit of the Outdoors page on it, and I'll check my notifications, and I think Bruce Mitchell comes up, and the Swamp People, and there's maybe two of the canoeing group, and there's a couple of hunting trapping groups that's on there, and that's about it. I think there's a muzzleloading group. I was in like Mountain Men Traditions or something like that, but the people that run that, I was sharing my videos there, and they kept turning my videos off, and I wasn't putting every video on there, just the stuff that was black powder related. And what they kept doing that, and then they was letting that old boy that does the camping, that's got that huge channel, he could put every one of his tent camping videos on there, and they was all celebrating. I just got off. I left that whole group. Them people, they didn't like me for some reason, so I didn't like them back. But so Facebook's not really a problem for me. Instagram's what winds up sucking me in, taking a bunch of time. And YouTube, I can manage YouTube because I pick what I want to look at for the most part. I don't just get sucked into them nasty reels. So, and usually my YouTube watching, I tell y'all what I done this week. I ordered me a new set of headphones. I had some earbuds, and the reason I need them is editing my videos. I can hear what's going on. So I had some earbuds that I had bought off online somewhere, and they finally played out. They wouldn't Apple, they was some off-brand. Well, I throwed them in the trash. They were still working fine, but the battery got where it wouldn't last through me editing a whole video. It started dying like in 30 minutes. So I just threw them in the trash. And I ordered me some Bluetooth headphones. And I had some headphones before, but they messed up. And so the reason I like the headphones is I can put them on there and Bluetooth to the thing. I had a some earbuds that came with my phone. It's got the cord. Well, when you lean back, I just barely had, and every time I'd let it impressed me. Oh, I've had them in, so I can put them on down there while I'm in the shed with my phone over there, and I can hear good everything that's on YouTube. So I watch YouTube while I'm making pottery. Either that or I listen to a book. And for the last 2 days, I've been listening to a book because I had them good headphones. I could keep up what's going on it. So with that stuff, so when we got up here in the afternoon, instead of me sitting here and play on my phone, if I'm editing a video, I'm trying to do that in there at the computer. And it's got to where it really don't take me about 30 minutes to edit a whole video, about as long as it takes to watch it, to kind of maybe a little bit longer, depending on how much cutting and editing I have to do. But a lot of it, I don't have to do a whole lot of that. I just trim the ends. I pretty well edit as I'm filming. I don't edit stuff I'm not planning on using unless I'm like off on a trip. And like when I hand the phone to Michelle and tell her to film the baptism, and she's trying to catch Brody and doing the phone like this, and she ain't even paying attention, just I like to never got that part of the video edited. Lord help, I don't have to hand the camera to you no more. She'll hear that and get mad at me. I'm probably getting scolded here now. But it was the truth. Larry, I don't know if either one of them have a barrel or not. I'm gonna have to do some looking. I looked on eBay. eBay had some at one time, but right now all eBay's got is 1-inch barrels. Mine is a 15/16 button breech 28-inch barrel for a CVA Hawking Hunter. And so I've got to, I'm gonna keep looking. I don't know. I may try to call Deer Creek at some point and ask them, are they gonna have any? If not, I don't know. I may call Mr. Jack Garner in Corinth and see if we can just build a barrel for it. I mean, if he's got a 15/16 barrel, I can cut it off to what length I want, put what breech I want in the back of it. You know, I mean, there's a lot I can do with that. So, and I can put the breech out of the barrel I have into another barrel. You know, it's got a breech in it. I may clamp that in there and see if I can unscrew it. I don't know how much. John McGraw, we filmed that with an iPhone. The iPhone 13 has a great camera, and obviously the ones above it. Actually, the iPhones prior to the 13 have a pretty good camera. The 13 has a little better zoom, but now the 15 has a lot better zoom. Michelle's got a 15. But the audio quality is better in the 13 than it is the previous phone. So my thinking is if you're going to film very much stuff, especially vlogging type videos, and I don't fool with Samsung, so I'm not knocking Samsung. I can only speak about iPhone because that is what I use. I've been with iPhone for, I don't know, since I had an iPhone 4, I guess. Instead of buying a camera, buy iPhone. Instead of buying a GoPro, buy iPhone. Yes, they about $1,200. But you're already going to buy a phone. So if you buy a camera and a cheaper phone, how much have you spent there? I mean, I make payments on phone, which this one now is paid for, I think, by now. But it's a lot more practical to have the phone because you're going to tote that phone, and if it'll do all the filming you need to do, and I got to think 128 gig, I wish it had a lot more memory, but it's got enough for what I do because I pull all of my footage to the computer and edit it. But now I do want a newer computer. Amy, Brody like to got in trouble at the baptism. He wouldn't stay out of the water, and Michelle, she couldn't film because she was trying to chase him, drag him back out of the water. She said, I wouldn't worry about him getting wet. Said he kept picking up them nasty straws that was floating over there. John, I can't rebore the barrel on it. I've never heard of Rice Barrel Company either. The barrel is rusted out, and reboring it would take it to a larger caliber, which I have not got a problem with. I've already got all the stuff to make my own bullets and everything for 50 caliber, but I don't. Yeah, Uncle Sasquatch, I may not ever get the breech out of it. I don't know. I got I got a cutting torch. I can heat it up cherry red and possibly unscrew it, but it may gall the threads out. Martin, yes, I've listened to Mozart. Sure have. I tell y'all what else I listened to. I finally drug a CD player out that I had that ain't real good quality, but I wanted the CD player, so I put it in my shed and took that old big yellow radio out, and it's sitting in a shelf down there. It's just a DeWalt radio for outdoor charging batteries and stuff. And J.R. Willis and Nikki had given me a CD of him playing, and y'all, he's got some pretty good tunes on his CD. You need to get up with him if you like his music, and some stuff he made back a long time ago. It's a pretty good CD. What?
I just want to tell them why I messed up on filming.
I told y'all I was going to get in trouble.
Well, I looked out there while he was baptizing, and Brody had done got out there knee deep in the water. And he just kept wading further and further out there, and he wouldn't come back. He wouldn't pay me a bit of attention.
They are. It took me forever to edit all that out of it. It jerked and snatched around. The camera was all over. I was like, you barely got some of them's head and they was getting baptized. But we got it done.
I'm coming.
He's got his head stuck out the door. Hey, take this bowl, will you?
He won't go in his room unless I come in there with him.
Are you being needy tonight? He said, yeah. All right. But anyway, I wanted to build a flintlock 50 caliber rifle, or really I wanted to build a smoothbore. So I don't know now just what I'm going to do about. I have one more rifle that is not really a rifle I like, but it is a 50 caliber. I need to get it out and shoot it. It don't have good locks in it, and see if it will group where I at least got something to hunt with. I don't I want to do black powder hunting, and my camera is dying. I may have to hook it up here shortly. I want to black powder hunt. I want to hunt with a muzzleloader. Last year, when I couldn't get it to group, I just laid it down and walked off from it. But I want to build one. I want to build a smooth bore. But I don't know if that's something I'm ready to endeavor on, or if I want to focus on trying to get a 50 caliber rifle where I can hunt with it. And I have a CVA Optima Pro that has a 209 primer into the back of it. And I don't want to hunt with it. I thought about pulling all the stocks and everything off of it and building some stocks to go on it to give it but I don't know. It's just what. Cynthia Holt said my husband's 50 caliber Thompson backfired, blew the nipple and the hammer off. It came out like a scalded dog. It was almost bad. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's Uncle Sasquatch. I bought an inline back. When we first had to have a muzzleloader to hunt on this swamp back here, it was all black powder. And that was all I could get at the time. So I don't know. Larry Alexander, does it have a button breech or a hook breech? Mine has a button breech on it. The one I saw up there had a hook breech. And I don't... Can y'all still not hear me? I don't know. Don't know about the sound. Can everybody not hear? Palmetto Gaming, they may be on your end. I don't know. Everybody else can hear me. I just see people saying they couldn't hear me. And some of that could be when my phone pops up that it's about to die, that it does that, which it's 9 o'clock. We got a little while we might go. Let me hook my battery up to this right quick, just in case. Get my battery pack out here. I don't know how much juice is in it. Oh, it's telling me it's at 100%. So that drawstring's good for hanging on this camera mount right over here. And then I can take this cord and I can plug it right up there. And I know good and well that's charging. All right. And Roscoe is definitely needing some attention. Get me some more tea now. I'm good to go. It's getting warm out here, y'all. I mean, sticky feeling. When it starts raining and gets a lot of moisture in the air, it gets tough. John McGrew, yeah, Friday evenings at 7 o'clock Central, I try to go live. If I've got something that I know is coming up in advance, I'll either try to reschedule it and do it Saturday night or Thursday night. I think last week we knew we were going to be gone. Roscoe was against the tripod leg, scratching his ear. And and I redone it. I did it Thursday night last week, so 5 of us can't hear you. Would you be interested in a 12-bore cap lock? What is a 12-bore cap lock, Jerome? I don't know what a 12-bore is. I'm going to have to come up with something because I really wanted the black powder hunt. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun to me. But now here's the next thing. I ain't really got any good places to hunt too much this year. 12 gauge black powder shotgun. I don't know. Might be I don't know. It might be fun. Uncle Sasquatch may want it. I want a 50 caliber rifle. What I want, because I just want to have one. And I tell you what frustrates me is I got 3 of them hanging down there, and I ain't really had no success with any of them being any good. They all been rifles that people bought and had them to hunt when that's what we had to have to hunt, and they apparently never cleaned them, or black powder is a trip for a lot of people. So, um, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look for a barrel. I'm hoping I can find a barrel for this gun. The Investor Arms little short gun, I'm going to attempt to make a video on smoothing that barrel out myself. I just think I can take a drill and some sandpaper and stuff and smooth it out myself. I mean, I can't hurt it, you know. Um, Larry, that if I've seen all them barrels on there, I don't know if that guy. I hadn't really thought about contacting him and see. I don't know if the breech is different size on a 1 inch to a 15 I mean, it ain't but a 16th of an inch. You'd probably most likely they would be the same. I don't know. Yeah, the thing with the smooth bore is when I build a smooth bore, I want it in 54 or 62 to where I can shoot shot in it squirrel hunting, but then it's small enough that I can shoot a round ball and deer hunt and do everything with the same gun. I'm getting lost in my train of thought tonight for some reason. I don't know why. I can't keep up with everything. Jim Kibler is coming out with a smoothbore flintlock. Jerome, I ain't had no luck trying to bark a squirrel. I blowed one all to pieces one time trying to do it. But it's probably because none of my guns have been accurate. But now I hit the tree and should have barked one with my 36 caliber, and it didn't. He run in the hole. Last year I had it pretty well dialed in, and I had finally got everything working for me and was hitting them that last hunt I did. And I missed one. He had his head stuck out of a hole, and I hit right beside him, and it didn't bark him like it was supposed to. But I didn't want to shoot him. I couldn't shoot him right in the head because I'd have knocked him back into the tree, and I was trying to shoot beside him and knock him out of the hole. And it didn't. When it shot, he went in the hole anyway, so I don't know what happened. I could see the skint place on the tree. I knew right where I hit, and it wasn't that high up, but that's high, Uncle Sasquatch. I could go buy me a lever action Marlin for about that price. I think I. Jack Garner he had kits. I could build the kit. They was about $800, and if I get a kit, that's probably what I'll do. But now they a lot rougher. They not just ready to stick together like Kibler's kits are a lot more. They have a lot more of the work done on them. They ain't just ready to stick together either, I don't think. But I hadn't fooled with them. Uncle Sasquatch has built one. But I just thought I would throw that out there. If somebody comes up with some ideas, because I really love my black powder, and it has really put a hamper on my black powder videos. I mean, just I don't know. It last year I got all excited about it. I had my buckskin shirt. I mean, and it just I don't know. The energy just kind of left. We're gonna figure it out though. I tell you what we're gonna do. If we can't get the black powder to work, we're gonna make sure we get a bow built, and we're gonna bow hunt till we kill something. Sounds like a good idea, don't it? I'm hoping I get me some meat when these peas start coming in. I ain't gotta be meat hunting. Andrew, I've never tried any fly fishing. Mark Melzer, I got a one-track mine, and the rails is coming loose on it, I think. My grandpa fly fished a lot. He would get on them brim beds and fly fish, but I'm going to be honest with you. I hadn't brim fished enough to know right where a good brim bed is. But now I'm about ready to go back down there and go back to grinnell fishing. Palmetto, I'm going to try to go see Uncle Sasquatch sometime or another. Hopefully, maybe if I get up there toward his way for long, I can go visit with him anyway. I want to make a trip up towards the Carolinas and into Virginia. I'd like to go see Mike Reed and stop and see some of the rest of y'all that's up in the Carolinas around over that way. If I could make me a loop over there. But my problem is taking off work long enough to have money to make all of that trip. And another thing is I'd like to travel out and do some more of this, getting to baptize some people out further away. David, I've got 250s that's rusted out. The little short and best arms is in the worst shape, and I'm gonna smooth it out at some point. I'm gonna get me some kind of a dowel rod and some sandpaper and chuck it up in my drill, and I'm gonna make a video on it, and we're gonna just go at it. And we may start that project sooner than later. I want to spend the summer working on some of my stuff, getting ready for fall. Which I've still got a lot of gardening and medicinal plant videos on, and we'll be working on medicinal plant videos all the way into fall, hopefully. I've got to get geared back up on that, so. Molon, yeah, my boss will load up and go with me. Our problem is the light company don't understand. Whenever they send that bill, they expect you to pay it pretty straightforward. And I'll be like, I'm a little strapped for cash this week. But they don't never bother them. Well, it's due. They got a switch somewhere that they can just flip it, and there you sit in the dark, no internet, no nothing. Roscoe's done been to the door 3 times over. I think he's ready to go in. And my back is itching out here. And it is raining. I got a coffee can over there that Brody, we had left some plums in, and it had got nasty in there, so I set it out there in the water to rain, and it's slam full of water. I don't know, Andrew, if we got free fishing or what. Yeah, Jason, it don't cost them a dime to flip it off, but yeah, it's about $35, $40 more to reach over there and turn it back on. Oh, Palmetto, so I got you figured out. Now I know who you are. Good deal. Local life outdoors. He has got some good fishing. I want one of them boats that he fishes in, y'all. If you check his channel out, they got a Warrior. It's a one-man boat that's got an electric motor, and they pretty unique. I think it would go well in my swamp down here. But now I'll be honest with you, I like my old canoe. Now I'm a fan of my canoe. I ain't got no problem with it. I'll be honest with you, y'all talking about them 3 days. It ought to be you ought to be able to fish every day for free. It's a shame that we got to buy a license in this country just to fish. I ain't even gonna get started on that. We get taxed more ways than Sunday. You can't do nothing no more without buying a permit from the government to do everything. You got to pay the government to build something on your own property just about it. I figure it's easier to get forgiveness than it is permission. How many of y'all have built self bows? I've started a couple. I've got one that actually works, but it don't shoot great. I got another one, an Osage one that I completely built. I'm talking about got all the way down to starting the tiller, and a crack showed up running out of the limb, and I just put it up. I didn't even try to finish it. Tommy, that skeg slides over stuff good. That thin one. Now the bigger one is tough to do. But anyway, I've got a hickory bow that I had started a video on last year, and I got everything ready, and it is on a jig bit, and I was going to char the belly of it. And I never did get past that. I started it, and it was taking longer to char it than I wanted. It wasn't coming out even. I think I'm going to take, I don't know, I hear gunshots or firecrackers or something. And but I need to finish it. What I was gonna do is take that torch wand and just char it with it. But I need to get one of them that actually shoots really good and not worry about how much poundage it has and get good with it. Obviously, I got my recurve bow and it shoots well enough, but I wanted a bow I made. I think a bow I made would just be fun. So hopefully I can get to do some of that stuff, but Tommy, they may be guarding them. Lord, you watch, it won't be long. We'll have to buy a permit to pick plants out of the ground. We'll have to buy a permit to garden and a permit to. It gets ridiculous. It does, y'all. I have yet to kill a deer with traditional archery. I did kill a rabbit with it. That was exciting just to be harvested something with it. Nikki, how you doing? Hi from Indiana. CJ, are you serious? heard talk about garden permits. I do know that they frown on us trying to grow our own food. They gonna force all of us into being outlaws that want to take care of ourselves. I mean, they seriously want us to bow down to them for every little thing we need. What do you need, Roscoe? What do you want? He's really ready to get in the house and curl up and lay down, I think. You ready to go inside? Is that what you want, is to go inside? Huh? You ready to go get under the covers in the bed? Huh? Keith, I think there's a lot of us that share your sentiment. I, the problem is it's hard to figure out how fast to pace everything's going to escalate. I figured this election coming up is going to tell the tale. I just, regardless of who wins it, I can't see it being a good outcome either way. I feel like regardless of who wins, these people on the other side going to start destroying stuff. I just want to be left alone out here. I just want to grow my garden and hunt for food and be left alone. That's all I want. I don't need nothing from the government. I don't want to take nothing from the government. Just leave me alone. I don't want to bother you. I don't want to fight with you. Just let me live my life out here. I won't venture too far off this place. But no. They not happy with that. Yep, Nancy, he had done got up here it's where he wanted the whole time. He been wanting up here in this lap. Tara Anderson, was that wild lettuce bitter? Take your fingernail and just nick that plant and rub you a big goop of that white lacticarium off, and it'll make your eyelids roll up and down like window shades. Make your eyeballs cross. Appalachian explorers, if they would just leave a lot of us alone, they could just about get their way with most things. You know, I mean, I realize there's some concerns and reasons for regulating something, and I'll tell you what, the one thing, like hunting, you really can't just pull the plug on hunting and say, okay, hunt all you want. Because you got way too many greedy people that would just slaughter everything. I mean, they really are. I watch them fishing. They go fishing, and if the fish is biting, they just can't stop. They just can't do it. As long as they'll bite, they got to sit there and catch them. And then they don't know what in the world they're going to do with them. It's like, you know, a lot of it is they want to be able to brag about how many they caught. Well, you know, if they biting, everybody can catch a boatload, you know. If they not biting, it's a little more difficult. Tara Anderson, you need to you need about a spoonful of lacticarium, like a teaspoonful, not all at one go. And then you'll have some of the best dreams you ever had. Deep sleep. Yeah, Bill Valentine, it is raining right here. It is just a mist and sprinkle. Ain't no really hard rain. It didn't start raining until I turned the sprinklers on in my garden. Pastor Billy, yeah, people, they don't know they don't have no self-control. And it's like that in every aspect of their life. It's all about me, me, me. They don't have no consideration for other people. And they don't have any respect for the animals or the plants or anything out there. Like, let's make sure that there's plenty for next time I want to go. And they're not doing it just because I'm hungry and I want to eat fish. They're doing it because I want to brag to my friends and try to impress somebody about how many fish I caught. And that ain't why this stuff is out here. People, I think, there's people that don't really ride center of the road enough. You got people that are way over here on animals, like, oh, they all have feelings. They shouldn't be no hunting or no whatever. And I ain't like that. Then you got people over here that animal's life don't mean nothing to them. They just shoot whatever and kill it and don't worry about it, go on. And you know what's in somebody's heart by how they treat an innocent animal that can't, do nothing back to them or tell on them, or that there's no law against this or whatever. Even when I'm hunting, I don't want a bad shot. I want a quick, clean kill. I don't want an animal suffering. I don't like to trap in ways that an animal is gonna suffer. I trap. Trapping is a necessary thing at times. You have to regulate now that we've, got stuff that we're trying to guard, like crops and homes and all this stuff. I mean, it's just chickens and different things you just got to protect. So about the only way to regulate that is to trap out some animals. But you have to have a sense that, hey, that is a life that I'm taking. That is an animal that is, it deserves a little bit of respect. Now, it's not human. It don't deserve the same respect that you give a human. But there's so many people that don't, they just, they get out there, it's just an animal and it's shooting whatever and catching fish and then don't know what they're going to do with them. Most of them don't even like them, don't even want to eat them. Tara, we'll see you later. Yeah, Creator's House. You're right. There's way too many that is way one way or way the other. And I'm that way with politics. I really am. I don't consider myself Democrat or Republican. I don't agree with a lot of neither one of them. I agree with a little bit of both of them. Probably a little more one way than the other, but I like my good Christian values. I like moderation of things. I want to use our resources. I want to use them wisely. I don't want to waste everything. I don't want to cut trees down just for $1, And when we do cut a place, let's use everything there. Let's make use out of everything. Let's get the good out of it, and a lot of that's not practical. I realize people need jobs, people need to work, and all this stuff creates economy and I mean, it's like oil. I don't think we're gonna slam run out of oil. I don't think, and I really don't think that cars and carbon is affecting the globe warming. I don't know if they're calling it global warming or climate change or whatever. But I do agree that it is changing. It's blatantly obvious that the climate is changing. I think more of it is probably weather modification stuff going on, but I also don't believe that everything is weather modification. I mean, you have to get down and figure out facts instead of stuff you just heard on the internet. But you got to respect other people and other people's beliefs, yet not be gullible into believing everything. And there's some truths. The one big thing I think that everybody struggles with is the belief of God and the understanding of the world. Take this for instance. I seen a religious post. Well, it was really an anti-religious post, and they were talking about dinosaurs and how many Christians refuse to believe in dinosaurs. Well, y'all, they've got bones put together. They was dinosaurs here. That's a fact. That's a hard fact. But the Bible don't mention dinosaurs. But the thing you have to realize is that there was a lot of books and stuff written that is not in the Bible, like the book of Enoch, several other books. They're not things that will change your faith, that will change what you believe is right or wrong, or the way, belief in God, any of that. But there is some insight in history into the world pre-flood to help you understand how the world was. And my personal belief is that the earth was inside of a globe of water, and the firmament was a bubble of water that was around the whole world, and it kept the whole world at one constant temperature inside there, like a greenhouse. And it allowed man to be able to live to 900 years old. Blocked out the UV rays and the stuff that made man age fast. Well, it also allowed all the animals to grow and live that long just as well. And we find all these bones. We know that the Bible talks about there were giants in the land. People grew to alarming sizes. They didn't quit growing. So that would explain, like the pyramids and stuff, how they were able to build that. When you had people that was way stronger than we are, way bigger than we are, there's a lot to be explained by all of that. Like the dinosaur bones. They were here pre-flood. Well, Noah did not put any on the ark, so they did not make it through the flood. He had a list of what animals were to go on the ark that were to make it through the flood. God did not wipe out the world because of men's evil deeds, as in their lust and their... He wiped out because of the evil that was in the world, the animals. So the dinosaurs and all that stuff was what he was getting rid of. They were eating people. And if you read the book of Enoch, you're able to understand that they were angels that come down and mated with humans and created stuff that God did not intend from the very beginning to be in the world. And when it was there, he allowed it. But then when it went too far, he said, okay, we got to get rid of this. And that is what the flood was about. It was not to punish a man for a man's crime. It was bigger than that. So there's a lot that we don't understand about the world that we live in, as far as history and the age of the earth and all that. And the flood happened. I don't know exactly how God broke the firmament. I don't know if he sent a meteorite to hit it and bust through it and bust it. But if you looked at our world from the outside, it probably looked much like some of the other planets that they think is a ball of gas. I feel like some of them may have another world inside of them. I ain't saying they people on it, but I ain't saying they ain't either. I don't know. I don't think we're going to ever find anything that God don't intend for us to find. But when I'm talking about that, you're talking about people that will refuse to believe they dinosaurs, and we got bones. So, a Christian loses his ability to reason with reality. And here's the next thing. You take all these people that they claim they've seen aliens, claim they have seen this, that, and the other. There's creatures and whatever else. It's very simply explained, y'all. They're seeing demons manifested. They're real. The Bible talks about them. I know preachers that have seen them, but most of it is through drug use, opens your mind into spiritual things. And I personally talked to a guy that, he saw something. And he described it to a T. There was no varying in his story from time to time when he'd tell it. And he had been up for days on drugs, and he saw aliens, he said. And as he described them, it very clear that he saw a demon, is what he saw. So, you know, a lot of that, so if you just use some practical reasoning, a lot of things can be explained. But the world itself, most people are not going, they're refusing to say, hey, this is spiritual, because they don't want to believe in God. So they can't say, okay, this is a spiritual thing behind whatever's, you know, this phenomenon. But it, you know, it's there's a lot that we just not gonna understand probably till we get to heaven and really look. Cause I would love to know what the world looked like before the flood. I mean, I would just like to see a glimpse into what it looked like pre-flood. How big the trees were, how, you know, how tall did they get? It's I think if they really did some digging, I think there's bones of the giants somewhere. And I don't know, somebody told me that they said all the dinosaurs, they hadn't found heads for the dinosaurs, they fabricated the heads for them, but I don't know that I believe that. I was under the impression that they found dinosaur heads, basically a reptile that just kept growing. But they you know, they got to be human bones that are very large. I have seen pictures of footprints that were fossilized somewhere. What are you seeing? Huh? He's getting antsy about something. But anyway, that's a deep subject. But you know, you have to stand back and stand somewhere in the middle of the ground and try to find reality. The one that really blows my mind is the flat Earth people. You know, I mean, it's like almost common sense to figure out that the Earth is round. I can look at the moon and see that it's round. It's not. If it was a flat disc up there, I would be like, you know, the Earth might be flat. But everything out there that we look at is round now. Why would NASA and all these other people try to convince us the Earth was round if it was flat? What would the difference be? I don't know. But the passion that they argue this is what's scary. I mean, how serious they are about it. That, you know, they're convinced. Well, you know, the stuff that's in the ocean didn't get wiped out. Whatever animals are in the ocean, the flood didn't kill them. So think about that. Think about it. They just stopped growing as large because of the lifespan. I mean, they're not. I don't know if they're deep enough down in the ocean. You know, the sun's rays might be filtered out by water to where it's not. I don't know. There's some thought there to be. But doesn't the Bible speak of the unicorn at some place? I know it talks about the Leviathan. I want to think it's somewhere it mentioned a unicorn. Well, Larry, from the measurements of Goliath, Goliath was about 9 foot tall and a big man. But this was way after the flood. You think about the men that lived before the flood. Supposedly they were like 20 and 30, 40 foot tall. Now I don't know this to be a fact. Jason McAllister, that could be possible. I wouldn't argue that point either. Heather, we can do that. Yes. Pray for this family. How fast the earth turns, but we feel the same. It's like gravity. The atmosphere is blocking what. I mean, the atmosphere is part of the earth, and it is the air that is pulled to the earth by gravity with those molecules. And as it turns, the air that is on the earth turns with it. Until you get into outer space, can you watch the earth turn without you turning? You know, it's like gravity. The more dense something is, the gravitational pull is to the center of it. That's why you can stand on the top and the bottom and everybody be looking down. I mean, same way that an acorn can fall out of an oak tree and hit the ground and sprout into another oak tree and grow a tree out of a little bitty small acorn. It's just laws that God spoke into existence that's just that way. He designed it in ways that man really can't comprehend. But you can take astrology and pretty simply figure out that we're round. I mean, you can, if that was not the case, then men could not have found the seasons by the stars and drove ships by the stars years and years ago. And I have seen people talk about, but they if the earth was round, what they would have to fly up to here, to here, to here, down to here, but yet they've in a straight line on this, and they'll turn the map some way, but they don't realize when you look at the earth flat from the North Pole being dead center of it, the same principle as if it's wrapped around is straight across around that globe. You're not flying like when we take and bend the earth flat in a map that we can see sideways. The stuff does not line up that way, not on a large scale because it's round. The curvature would line these 3 points up that look more like a triangle now on this earth peeled out and mashed flat. If you take a globe and peel it apart and lay it flat over there, well, that stuff don't line up, but you put it back on the globe and it's lined up back across it. It gets deep and takes a lot of understanding. What is a manicore, Jade? David's mighty men killed several giants. I know they actually killed 4 more giants other than Goliath. David's mighty men, they killed, I know 4. He had 4 brothers and they killed all of them. I thought there was 5 of them total. They could have been 6, David. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, our Creator's house, when they said we was like grasshoppers, there was a lot of giants in that land. And that is the land that they're over there fighting over again. And that was all given to the children of Israel at that time. It's their land. They've relinquished some here, there, and yonder to other people, and now they've taken it back. And the world's losing its mind. John McGraw, supposedly the whole world was underwater during the flood for 120 something days, if I ain't mistaken. But yeah, I have watched enough scientists. They found water fossils and all kind of stuff across the United States that there's enough proof that when you really get down to it, the whole world was underwater. I think that it was all gathered together. All the land was in one place at one time. But it's hard to prove that. Hard to prove it because we can't see it back in them days. We get off into a deep conversation tonight, hadn't we? I'll tell y'all this though. Regardless of what you think, whether you think the Earth's flat or the Earth's round, or if they's aliens or they ain't aliens, or if they was giants or they wasn't giants, if there's unicorns and whatever, giants in the land, no giants. None of that matters when it gets down to me and you living today. Only thing that matters is, you know what? I love him with all my heart. I love my neighbor and I want to help the people around me. Regardless of whether they good to me or not, I still need to try to help them and do good for them. And I ain't arguing with people. If they don't agree with me on something, okay, that's fine. It's no big deal. And trying to get out of this world and do as much good as we can, knowing that, you know what, when I die, there's a world after this. You're going to spend eternity somewhere. And, you know, those are the things that really only matter. John Thomas, I believe that. I think it was all one land. Jade, I'll have to look into that. I don't know. I'll have to investigate that. I have not heard of a manticore. Creature with a human head, body of a lion, tail of a scorpion, and also possibly with wings. I know he killed, Benaiah killed two lion-like men of Moab. So whatever that means, I don't know. Molan Lee, yeah, we all still connected under the water, yeah. You got a point right there now. I can't argue with that one. Where does Sasquatch come from? He's from West Tennessee. People claim to have seen him. Well, he was on here talking to us. That's the only Sasquatch I believe in. I don't know. People talk about Bigfoots and Sasquatches and Yetis, and I don't know. I think a lot of it is from imagination and the desire to tell stories. I'm gonna tell you what disproves a lot of stuff. There's too many cameras nowadays. There's too many deer cameras, cell phone cameras, all kinds. We would have gotten a clear picture by now if it was real. That's all I'm gonna say. You've never seen a clear picture, and there's way too many cameras in the woods. And you know if somebody got one on camera, they gonna show it. Now, I have seen where some old boys put on gorilla suits to prank their buddies, and I know about that. In fact, I got a gorilla suit myself. I've pulled that one. Does that mean they never was one? You know, I don't know. If they was any back in the mountain man days when we first took to conquering this land, as far as the trappers and the guns and all moved in here, they would have killed them out. It's There's a lot of stuff that could be out there though that we hadn't found. I mean, there's a lot of plants that exist that probably ain't really been named and figured out, hey, this is a separate species or whatever. I don't know. And you know, I could stand up before the Lord one day and he goes, yeah, they really was a Bigfoot. I had this many of them and I kept them here. You know, I'm like, well, I was wrong on that. It's no big deal. I just feel like if it's out there now with as many cameras as we've got, somebody would have a good picture. Not a fuzzy, you know, like what's this way off in the background type of deal. I think we'd. Uncle Sasquatch said from Tennessee. Uncle Sasquatch, do you believe in a real Sasquatch? That how you got your name? Nephew gave you the name. Wrestling is real and Bigfoot is fake. When are we going fishing again, Bill? Oh, need to go next week. I imagine after this weekend, I'm gonna be ready for a fishing trip because I got a lot on my plate this weekend. Uh, so probably tomorrow. I've got a little bit of pottery I'm gonna work on tomorrow, and then I have got to get within my thoughts. I have got several sermons to put together, and I'll probably be doing that. So by the time I get done Sunday night with the last sermon I got to preach, by Monday I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm ready to go to the swamp. So hopefully Monday, Tuesday, probably gonna go grinnell fishing. I'm probably done with brim. I could go catch some crappie, and I may go after some midsummer crappie at some point. I really prefer to crappie fish in the fall and winter. That's when I like to crappie fish. They just better then. Oh, I got a half a mind to do another camping trip in the swamp. Oh, it gets hot, but if I don't have to do a lot of walking and I can string up my hammock and just get under that bug net, I could probably pull one off. But now I've got a lot of projects that I'm wanting to do this summer. I can already see that I've got myself lined out. I want to finish a bow. I want to get a rifle, muzzleloader geared up. And y'all, we hadn't even really talked about that I've got plans to build me and Brody a teepee out here. I wanted to have it ready before fall. So me and him, I want to put it right out over here where you can see it in the background of these videos. We could possibly build a fire out there and film in it. But I want to build a show enough giant teepee. One that I can get in. I mean, we can, 16 to 14 foot diameter in it. So that's got to happen. And I'm going to build it out of drop cloths, stitch it and hem the edges and make it look professional. And then we're going to probably silicone and, like I did the bed sheets, probably going to spray it on the outside and just seal the outside of it. What y'all think about that? Should we paint Native American designs on the teepee when we get it built? Because when I peel my poles and all for it, I'm gonna probably oil them and fix them to where it preserves them. Thank you, Larry. Good night. Bill, yeah, it's gonna be a sure enough teepee. One you could build a fire in the center and have enough room to get back away from the fire. And I've got part of the I'll have to get several of these drop cloths and sew them together. So I don't know. My buddy Tony Parker brought me an old sewing machine up here to sew leather and stuff. I've got to get a needle for it. It's a hand crank one, but it'll do what I need to do. And I need to get, I want to sew all of my drop cloths together, and I need it 30 by, I guess, 15. And then I'll have to cut my shape in there and then hem that edge all the way around. And then I'll stitch in my tie outs and all. And then I'll have to make the 3 foot tall sheet that goes around the bottom on the inside so that it drafts right. The one that I had built down out of the old trucker's tarp, down to the ground, just never did draft right. You couldn't, it'd stay in it and it'd smoke. It's just miserable to stay in. I want one that I can get out there and build a fire in it and sleep this winter. Me and Brody can camp out in it. And I'll have it to where I can take it down and carry it down there and put it up in the woods if I want to. But I want it right out here in the yard because Brody, me and him could camp out together right out here in it. And it'd be right here in the yard. We could film videos by it. And he would probably stay in it here in the yard. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Right now, I don't see Brody going off and staying off in the woods much. He might. We'll have to see. Yeah, Teresa, they rubbed that wax into them jackets, but now they make a product called Nix Wax. It's a 2-bottle part that you can wash like Gore-Tex stuff in there and waterproof it. But they waxed that stuff. They took that beeswax and basically rubbed it into them and treated it. There's a lot of people got videos on doing what like they make oilcloth. Now I have done a bed sheet with boiled linseed oil and turpentine. It soaked it in it and it waterproofed it. I mean, absolutely waterproofed it. But I'm talking about a full-size bed sheet weighs a lot. I just didn't want to do a teepee like that. It's just too heavy. But it'd be an old one of them canvas looking drop cloths, and I'm thinking about coming up with some Native American designs and painting on it. I don't know what. I'm not sure what I want to put on it because I don't know. The designs don't have meaning to me. That's like the feather. I'm bad to hang a feather in my hair back here in my bandana, and I get a lot of people, what does that mean? I don't know. It just looks cool to me, you know. To me, more it's a wind vane, you know, when the wind's blowing. But it just gets me in the feeling of that time period's what it's about. It's like somebody putting on buckskins now and wearing them for just because it's puts you in that mode of thinking. So yeah, we definitely gonna put Spirit of the Outdoors on it, and I wish that I was talented enough to paint this logo huge. I'm not that good. Now, you can do the old projector thing, and I really hadn't thought about that, and I may know a lady that can do that for me. She's pretty good at stuff like that, and it's definitely we're gonna put our logo on some point of it, but now I don't wanna, I want it to look cool. So I don't know. We're gonna figure some stuff out. I'm gonna build the smoke flaps on it and everything. I want it where it functions properly. I'm about past all this. Let's just throw something together to make do. If I'm gonna build a teepee, I want to go all out and build one that'll last me a long time that I can take down and use. And then hopefully at some point I'll be able to go to some of these rendezvous things and take it and set it up and, you know, stay there and camp in it. But the trip is with a teepee is taking it somewhere and being able to stand it up by yourself. I watched, oh boy, what's his name, that bushcraft guy out in the Rocky Mountains. he tried to stand one up with his truck. He like to never got it stood up. So it can be a doozy to get stood up by themselves, but I figure I can figure it out. Well, y'all, it is after 10 o'clock. Roscoe is ready for bed. He is already asleep. He jerks every now and then. You know, he's having that falling dream. So I ain't going to bore all of you any longer tonight. We have done had a good time, talked. I doubt I'm going to have a video up tomorrow. I've got to film these shoes at some point. I'm hoping this is the last shoe video I do. When I seen this, I said, I ain't gonna do no more boot video. I'm through doing, I don't want no more boots. Cause I like all of them. I ain't got no complaints about any of the other boot companies that have been sent to me. I think they're actually good boots, all of them. But this one, this style of shoe I saw I had to have. So that's why we're doing it. So anyway, I got to do it at some point, and then Beavercraft's axe, a really good axe. You see Mike Reed do some knife videos of theirs. Well, I got a full-size axe, and it's a show enough chopping axe. It looks like a war axe, and I'm excited to do a video on it. Teresa, thank you. My daughter created this logo for me. I told her I wanted a paddle and a muzzleloader crossed with a canoe, and I had a tomato plant originally. Well, when we started making the products out of it, the tomato plant was real hard to do, so we just changed to another plant, and that represents the canoeing and fishing I do. It's got an arrow and fish hooks, the paddle for just the canoe and paddling we do, the muzzleloader, all the black powders, got a trap and a feather for the Native American style of mentality I've got, and then the plant to cover all the medicinal plants and the gardening that we do. So the logo kind of represents everything that we're about here, and then the plant is somewhat in the shape of a cross, not totally, but somewhat. So it's all kind of covered in there, but we came up with it. Everything's 100% original. I didn't copy not one bit of it, but my daughter designed it. Really, I just told her what I wanted in it, and she designed it and done a really good job. So I'm proud of it, and I'm glad you like it. So good night to y'all. Thank you for joining in with us. Ooh, Roscoe. Thank you for joining in with us tonight. Cooking, talking, getting into deep conversation. Everything. So anyway, I have enjoyed it. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight. Remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one.